In a quiet revolution unfolding across the landscape of human health and longevity, a long-overlooked truth is finally stepping into the spotlight. Muscle may be the most underappreciated organ in the body. Not just a tool for movement or a symbol of strength, muscle is now being recognized as a central player in metabolic regulation, immune function, and even survival itself. And at the heart of this revelation lies a single, unassuming nutrient: protein, specifically one powerful amino acid that acts as a biological switch, leucine. For decades, public health messaging has treated protein as a background player, often overshadowed by carbohydrates and fats. The focus has been on moderation, on avoiding excess, on choosing lean cuts and minimizing fat. But a growing body of research is turning that narrative on its head, revealing that the real danger for aging populations isn't too much protein, but far too little. The consequence? A silent, progressive erosion of muscle mass known as sarcopenia, a condition so insidious it creeps in unnoticed, weakening the body from within, until one day, a simple stumble leads to a broken hip, or a minor illness spirals into hospitalization. Sarcopenia doesn't announce itself with pain or fever. It steals independence, one shrinking muscle fiber at a time. What makes this condition so alarming is not just its prevalence, afflicting nearly half of adults over 65, but its profound link to mortality. Studies now show that individuals with low muscle mass face a dramatically higher risk of death, not just from falls or frailty, but from cardiovascular disease, infections, and complications during recovery from surgery or illness. The numbers are staggering, yet the solution may be simpler than previously thought: eat more of the right kind of protein, at the right times, and pair it with the right kind of movement. The key lies in understanding how muscle is maintained. Unlike fat or liver tissue, muscle is in a constant state of turnover, being broken down and rebuilt every day. This process, known as muscle protein synthesis, doesn't happen automatically. It requires a trigger, and that trigger is leucine. Among the 20 amino acids that make up proteins, leucine stands apart. It doesn't just contribute to muscle structure, it signals the body to start building. When leucine levels in the blood rise above a certain threshold, a cascade of cellular activity begins, activating pathways that tell muscle cells to grow and repair. Without this signal, even if total protein intake is adequate, the body may fail to rebuild muscle effectively. This is where modern eating patterns fall short. The typical Western diet is skewed heavily toward carbohydrate-rich meals in the morning and early afternoon, with protein often delayed until dinner. Breakfasts of toast, cereal, or smoothies may be easy on the palate but are nearly absent of leucine. By the time a substantial protein-containing meal arrives, the body has spent hours in a catabolic state, breaking down muscle for energy. This delay matters. The body doesn't operate on a weekly or monthly protein budget, it responds to immediate availability. Missing the opportunity to stimulate muscle synthesis in the morning means losing a critical window for repair and growth. But the problem isn't just timing, it's also quality. Not all proteins are created equal. Plant-based sources, while valuable for fiber and micronutrients, generally contain lower concentrations of leucine and are less efficiently absorbed. The amino acid profile of plants often lacks balance, requiring larger quantities to achieve the same muscle-building effect as animal proteins. More importantly, the digestibility of plant proteins is lower, meaning a significant portion may pass through the gut unutilized. This becomes increasingly problematic with age, as digestive efficiency declines and the body's ability to extract nutrients from food diminishes. Animal proteins, particularly those from ruminant animals like beef, lamb, and goat, offer a distinct advantage. These animals possess a unique digestive system that allows them to convert fibrous plant matter into high-quality protein with a complete amino acid profile. The result is a food source that is not only rich in leucine but also highly bioavailable, meaning the body can absorb and use it with remarkable efficiency. Eggs, dairy, and other animal products also contribute, but red meat stands out for its density of essential amino acids and its ability to consistently hit the leucine threshold in reasonable serving sizes. This brings into question the long-standing advice to avoid fatty cuts of meat. For years, health authorities have urged people to trim the fat, to choose skinless chicken breasts, to opt for lean ground beef. But this guidance, rooted in outdated theories about dietary fat and heart disease, may have done more harm than good, especially for older adults. Fat is not just a source of calories. It is a carrier of fat-soluble vitamins, a precursor to hormones, and a critical component of cell membranes. In the context of low-carbohydrate or ketogenic diets, fat becomes the primary fuel source, allowing the body to burn fat efficiently and stabilize blood sugar. When protein is consumed without adequate fat, especially in large amounts, it can place stress on the liver through increased demand for gluconeogenesis, the process of converting protein into glucose. But contrary to popular belief, this process is not automatic or excessive. It is tightly regulated by the body's energy needs. Eating protein does not flood the bloodstream with glucose unless the body specifically requires it. More importantly, removing fat from meat disrupts the natural synergy between protein and fat that has sustained humans for millennia. A ribeye steak, a chicken thigh with the skin, a piece of salmon with its natural oils. These are not indulgences to be avoided, but nutrient-dense foods that support metabolic health. The fat slows digestion, promotes satiety, and ensures a steady release of energy. It also enhances the absorption of fat-soluble nutrients like vitamin A, D, E, and K, which are essential for bone health, immune function, and tissue repair. In contrast, lean protein without fat can lead to a phenomenon known as protein poisoning or rabbit starvation, where excessive protein intake without sufficient fat or carbohydrates overwhelms the liver and kidneys, leading to nausea, diarrhea, and even death in extreme cases. The rise of processed protein products has further complicated the picture. Protein powders, bars, and shakes have flooded the market, promising convenience and muscle growth. But many of these products are highly refined, stripped of their natural fat and fiber, and engineered for rapid absorption. This speed can cause sharp spikes in insulin, even in the absence of carbohydrates, which may be problematic for individuals with insulin resistance or metabolic syndrome. Collagen supplements, often marketed for skin, hair, and joint health, are particularly misleading when promoted as muscle-building aids. Collagen is rich in glycine and proline but critically low in leucine and lacks tryptophan, making it an incomplete protein. Consuming collagen may support connective tissues, but it does nothing to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. Relying on such supplements while neglecting whole food sources of protein can create a false sense of security, leaving the body starved of the very nutrients it needs to maintain muscle. The implications extend beyond individual health. As populations age, the burden of sarcopenia on healthcare systems grows. Hospital stays are longer, recovery is slower, and the risk of institutionalization increases. Yet the solution does not require new drugs, expensive treatments, or complex interventions. It begins with a plate of food. A breakfast of eggs and sausage, a lunch of beef stew with marrow bones, a dinner of lamb chops with rendered fat. These are not relics of a bygone era, but potent tools for preserving vitality. The goal is not to eat more protein indiscriminately, but to eat the right kind of protein, in the right amounts, at the right times. One of the most persistent myths that has hindered progress is the idea that the body can only absorb 20 grams of protein per meal. This notion, often repeated in fitness circles and nutrition guidelines, has led to fragmented eating patterns, small protein portions spread across multiple meals, none of which are sufficient to trigger muscle synthesis. But modern research has dismantled this myth. The digestive system is capable of processing far more than 20 grams of protein in a single sitting. The real issue is not absorption, but utilization. If the leucine threshold is not reached, the protein may be used for energy or converted to glucose, rather than being directed toward muscle repair. A single meal with 40 or 50 grams of high-quality animal protein, especially when consumed earlier in the day, can provide a robust stimulus for muscle growth that smaller, more frequent meals cannot match. This shift in understanding aligns with emerging dietary patterns such as the carnivore and ketogenic diets, which emphasize animal foods and minimize carbohydrates. While these diets remain controversial in mainstream nutrition, they have revealed important truths about human metabolism. By removing processed foods, sugars, and industrial seed oils, and focusing on whole animal foods, many people report improved energy, mental clarity, and physical strength. The high-fat, moderate protein, low-carbohydrate framework allows the body to enter a state of fat adaptation, where it burns fat for fuel and stabilizes insulin levels. In this metabolic state, protein is used more efficiently for tissue repair rather than being burned for energy. This may explain why some individuals on these diets experience muscle preservation or even growth, despite consuming less total protein than recommended by conventional guidelines. Yet even within these diets, protein quality remains paramount. Simply eating large amounts of processed meats, deli slices, or protein isolates will not yield the same benefits as consuming whole cuts of meat with their natural fat and connective tissue. Organ meats, often overlooked, are nutritional powerhouses. Liver, for example, is rich in B vitamins, iron, and choline, all of which support energy metabolism and brain health. Bone broth, made by simmering animal bones and connective tissue, provides collagen, gelatin, and minerals that support joint and gut health. These traditional foods, once staples of human diets, are now being rediscovered as essential components of a muscle-preserving lifestyle. Of course, nutrition alone is not enough. The other half of the equation is movement, specifically resistance training. Muscle responds to demand. When muscles are challenged through lifting, pushing, pulling, or carrying, they send signals to the body that they are needed. This mechanical stress increases sensitivity to protein and leucine, making each meal more effective at building and repairing tissue. Even light resistance training, performed consistently, can reverse years of muscle loss. The combination of adequate protein intake and regular strength exercise creates a powerful synergy that no supplement or medication can replicate. The broader message is clear: aging does not have to mean decline. The loss of muscle, once seen as inevitable, is now understood to be largely preventable. The tools are accessible, affordable, and rooted in natural, whole foods. The challenge lies in overcoming decades of misinformation, myths about fat, misconceptions about protein, and the false belief that aging is a passive process we must simply endure. Instead, aging can be an active, empowered journey, where strength, independence, and vitality are preserved through intentional choices. This is not a call to return to excess or abandon balance. It is a call to reevaluate priorities. In a world obsessed with weight loss, blood sugar control, and cholesterol levels, muscle health has been neglected. But muscle is not just a reservoir of strength. It is a metabolic organ that burns calories, regulates glucose, and produces signaling molecules that influence the entire body. Losing muscle accelerates aging. Preserving it slows it down. The future of healthy aging may not be found in a pill, but on a plate. A plate rich in fatty meats, whole eggs, and nutrient-dense animal foods. A plate that honors the biological needs of the human body, not the trends of the moment. A plate that understands that protein is not the enemy of health, but one of its greatest allies. As more people awaken to this truth, a new paradigm is emerging, one where strength is valued over thinness, function over appearance, and longevity over convenience. It is a return to fundamentals, to the foods that built human civilizations, to the rhythms of eating and moving that have sustained us for generations. In this light, the simple act of eating a steak with its fat intact becomes an act of defiance against a system that has long underestimated the power of protein, the importance of fat, and the resilience of the human body. The message is no longer hidden. It is written in the science, echoed in the experiences of those who have reclaimed their strength, and carried forward by a growing movement that sees muscle not as vanity, but as survival. The time has come to stop fearing protein, to stop trimming the fat, and to start building a future where aging does not mean shrinking, where every meal is an opportunity to grow stronger, one bite at a time. If you found this deep dive into muscle health, protein quality, and the real truth behind aging strong eye-opening, hit that like button and make sure to subscribe for more science-backed insights that challenge the status quo. This isn't just about building muscle, it's about preserving your independence, energy, and vitality for decades to come. If you're ready to stop fearing fat, rethink protein, and take control of your metabolic health, drop a comment below with what surprised you most. And if you know someone who's always tired, losing strength, or struggling to feel like themselves, share this video. Because the best anti-aging strategy isn't a cream or a supplement, it's what you put on your plate. Thanks for watching.